This is why so many Americans do everything right, yet die from following government guidelines. Food industries spend $30 billion a year marketing their products. The marketing effort to promote natural whole foods is a mere $30 million a year. In other words, we spend over $100 per person each year promoting foods that cause disease and shorten lives, and only a dime promoting foods that prevent disease and prolong lives. The average consumer doesn't have a chance. Between government endorsement of animal products and heavy advertising, the typical American eats like a trained seal, and the training starts early. The average child is exposed to over 10,000 food messages on television every year, and our eating habits are an exact reflection of marketing efforts. Sad as this may sound, the best thing you can do for your child's health is to turn off the television. Not too long ago, Americans thought there was nothing wrong with smoking. Doctors smoked and even recommended cigarettes to their patients.
3 leading independent research organizations made a survey of doctors' cigarette preferences. 113,597 doctors were asked, "What cigarette do you smoke, doctor?" The brand named most was Camel.
According to a nationwide survey, more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette.
Cool cigarettes ran ads that their product actually prevented colds, and the media was filled with health claims for cigarettes. The tobacco industries used doctors to prove their case, and they used health claims in their slogans. As late as 1950, the American medical community still did not think smoking was a factor in lung cancer. And the American Medical Association had a cozy financial relationship with the tobacco industry. And to this day, tobacco executives deny that nicotine is addictive and claim that smoking does not cause lung cancer or any other disease. Today, we have the same attitude about animal foods. Like the tobacco industry, the animal food industries have all had advertisements taken off under court order because they were caught lying. And like tobacco executives, meat, dairy, and egg executives will swear that animal foods have nothing to do with heart disease, cancer, or any other disease, despite the medical evidence to the contrary. What smoking does for your lungs, cholesterol does for your arteries, and the damage is even more lethal. In fact, the link between an animal-based diet and heart disease is not only obvious, but just as strong as the link between smoking and lung cancer. What the animal food industries are doing for American health today is precisely what the tobacco industry did for our health just a few decades ago. Only worse. By subsidizing the animal food industries, the government promotes an eating habit that's the biggest killer in America today. Like the tobacco industry, animal food industries publish phony studies, deny there are any risks involved in eating their products, and fight tooth and nail for every subsidy they can get. Like the tobacco industry, the animal food industries collect billions in subsidies and pocket billions in profits. And the public gets stiff with higher taxes, disease, disabilities, and premature death. And we pay billions more for health care to treat problems caused by the foods these industries and the government promote. It took a long time for people to wake up to the health dangers inherent in smoking. Increasingly, more people are waking up to the inherent dangers of an animal-based diet. Mainstream advice is to eat more fruits and vegetables. The problem with that is you only have so much room in your stomach. What health authorities should be saying is to replace animal foods with plant foods. The problem with mainstream advice is that it's always at least 20 years behind the times. And when it comes to your health, that's 20 years too late. Just as mainstream advice finally got around to telling people to stop smoking, they will someday get around to telling people to stop eating animal foods. Like it or not, that's where we're headed, and for good reasons. When I first changed to a plant-based diet, I switched overnight, and my diet evolved as I learned more about food. I can't imagine myself ever eating any other way. It's the most delicious and varied diet I can conceive of, and those who think otherwise simply haven't tried it. It's not like you have to eat Brussels sprouts all day. This is really an old-fashioned diet. All you have to do is reorient your thinking about food. We're all attached to our favorite animal foods, and it's difficult to give them up. So if you're unprepared for a complete switch, do the best you can by gradually replacing foods in your diet. I would suggest you first switch to meat, egg, and dairy substitutes because they don't contain cholesterol. And second, eat the old-fashioned way by making animal foods only a very occasional part of your diet until you feel comfortable making a complete switch. It's actually a lot easier than you think. Your diet can evolve, but keep pushing it. The closer you move to a complete plant-based diet, the greater the health benefits. All kinds of plant-based or vegetarian diets. The problem with the word vegetarian is I don't know what it means anymore. Most vegetarians consume dairy. Some eat fish. Some eat eggs. These days, some people even eat chicken and call themselves vegetarians. Vegans eat no animal products whatsoever, but they don't explicitly prohibit refined foods. In other words, you could eat donuts and suck on sodas all day and be a vegan. And some teenage vegans do exactly this. In order to be as explicit as possible, I've come up with the RAVE diet. This is my word, but not my diet, because it follows the guidelines used by doctors to treat and reverse diseases. It's just a simple acronym to help you remember the rules, which are no refined foods, no animal foods, no vegetable oils, no exceptions, and exercise. When you follow the RAVE diet, you'll notice several things immediately. First, you'll discover you were constipated and didn't even know it. Your bowel movements will be easier and more frequent. Be happy. Your body's getting rid of toxic substances on a regular basis. The second thing you'll notice, if you have a check, is a drop in cholesterol.
Well, the first time I'm in Dr. McDougall's office, he had said, bring your medical records with you. He's looking through everything, and he said, I said, what? He said, your cholesterol is high, 236. You know, at that level, you are at as great a risk of having a heart attack and dying of heart disease as you are with breast cancer. Dr. McDougall said, change your diet, and it'll take care of the cholesterol as well. 3 weeks later, exactly 21 days later, back in his office, blood test, cholesterol, 160. 236, 160 in 3 weeks. No medication, no nothing. Just quit eating this stuff, and it goes away.
My own cholesterol went from 372 to now 124.
The third thing you'll notice is weight loss. What you won't notice immediately are the changes going on inside you. The clearing of fat and cholesterol from your blood vessels, the freer oxygen flow to all parts of your body, the strengthening of your immune system, and many other changes that will make you healthier and happy you adopted a new way of eating. And the changes this diet can make to your health by just opening up your blood but will involve the patient in the proper use of food, fresh air, and exercise. If you ask your doctors what you should be eating to fight arthritis, menstrual cramps, or cancer, they won't have a clue. But they will know what drugs to prescribe. But drugs only treat symptoms. Cholesterol-lowering drugs treat a symptom of a bad eating habit. Treating the cause of high cholesterol means eliminating cholesterol from your diet. The most often heard phrase in the cancer industry is early detection. But that's early detection of a symptom. The real cause of cancer is a weakened immune system that's weakened by the foods we eat. Tragically, the bulk of our vast medical establishment is dedicated to treating symptoms, not causes. And symptoms of diseases that were not even common before 1900. The mutilating surgeries, the billions of dollars spent on drugs, are for the most part treating symptoms of a lousy diet. You might be asking, why doesn't my doctor know about the powerful effects of diet? Simply put, they haven't been trained in plant-based nutrition.
We are not educated, we are not trained, and we are not in any way supported to work with our patient population in terms of education, disease prevention, and wellness. We are trained to focus on fixing the problem after it occurs, not preventing the problem, and that's true of all of medicine these days.
Before you make a life-altering decision, get the advice of doctors who are trained in plant-based nutrition, who are completely reversing diseases by simple changes in diet and avoiding the use of drugs and surgery. Read the books listed at the end, and the next time you visit your doctor, don't be afraid to question his or her advice or seek second opinions. After all, it wasn't that long ago that doctors were advising pregnant women to smoke. A plant-based diet is the oldest diet in the world. The RAVE diet just improves on most plant-based diets by excluding the foods that are at the root of our major diseases today. The human body is a miracle, and it's constantly trying to heal itself from the wounds inflicted on it by an animal-based eating habit. In fact, the whole point of the RAVE diet is to go back to the fundamental foods our bodies evolved with in order to give our bodies a chance to heal themselves. Because the best doctor on the planet is still right inside all of us.